Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kapadas.
Here.
Mrs. Basio. Here. Mr. Neary.
Here.
Mr. Root.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Basor.
Here.
And Mr. Wilson.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4th, 2017. And 2, emailed to the retrospect and Carrier Post on January 4th, 2017. First order of business we have is the approval of minutes. The motion is in order for the approval of minutes of the August 29th and September 5th meetings submitted by the clerk, as each member has received copies of the same. Is there a motion?
Make the motion to receive the minutes. I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Reports?
We have the report of the municipal court for the month of August. A total of $10,006.97 was collected. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the police department for the month of September. A total of $132.35 was collected for various accident discoveries, listener reports, and firearm permits. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the borough clerk for the month of September. A total of $370.20 was collected for permits and licenses. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the Register of Vital Statistics for the month of September. A total of $3,544 was collected for death copies, marriage copies, and marriage licenses. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the fire marshal for the month of September. Fire fees collected, $1,825. There were 69 inspections completed, 145 EMS incidents, 47 fire incidents, 1 type 1 permit issued, and EMS fees collected, $28,756.51. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have a report of the tax collector for the month of September. A total of $270,384.47 was collected in taxes and $71,728.95 in sewer rentals. And that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the reports as read?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the reports are read. Do we have the appointment? Where is the appointment on the agenda
We have to split it. It is further back, and you have someone else on there who needed to create the position first. Is that correct,
Yes.
Right.
17140.
Yeah.
Page 30.
here? 1740? 140?
140. But we can't appoint that until we create the position, so you're going to have to split it.
So we'll have to do the position, okay.
Okay, we have to split it.
We're going to change our order just a little bit so that we can do our appointments first. So we're going to go to the ordinance first.
You want to do the ordinance first?
Well, which one creates the position? Ordinance 1713?
I think the first one, no, that's the salary.
Okay, 1712, okay. So we're just going to go out of order just a little bit so we can,
It's actually the first one.
okay, so first reading, we have ordinance 17-12, which is an ordinance establishing the position of assistant municipal tax collector and payroll clerk. This portion of the meeting, is this not public?
No, not public hearing.
Okay, I just need a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law with the public hearing to be held on October 24th of this year.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Neary, second by Ms. Passio. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly. Yes. Mr. Lott. Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Neary.
Yes.
6 ayes, 1 absent.
5 ayes, right?
I'm sorry, 5 ayes.
5 ayes. All right, so now we have to do ordinance 17-13. It's an ordinance regulating the salaries of the employees of the Borough of Runnemede for the year 2017. This establishes the range for the assistant tax collector payroll clerk between $35,000 and $60,000. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law. The public hearing to be held on October 24th, 2017.
Second that motion?
All right, motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Ruda?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay. So now we're going to jump around to resolution 17-140. Okay. Here we go. All right, we have resolution 17-140 is a resolution confirming 2017 appointments. This is for the tax and finance departments. Beth Miller as the assistant tax collector payroll clerk, start date of October 16, 2017 at $45,000 per year. And in the police department, Jake Miller as special police officer class 2 at $13.50 per hour. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Root, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
5 ayes.
All right, this resolution is adopted. Mr. Miller, would you like to come up and be sworn in? Please raise your right hand. Stand on the Bible. I state your name.
I, Jake Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United
in
States
the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of
of police
Class 2
Class 2
Special Police Officer,
Special Police Officer,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and that I will not use my office
and that I will not use my office
to grant preferential treatment,
to grant preferential treatment,
nor to seek personal gain,
nor to seek personal gain,
favor,
favor,
or advantage
or advantage,
not available to the general public.
and not available to
To the general public.
general public.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You start 15 minutes, right?
We're out of uniform, let's go.
Congratulations.
Farrell, I believe.
Congratulations.
We do it abbreviated so that you guys, if you want to leave, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting. You know, if you want to take pictures, whatever you want to do. Good? Congratulations. Congratulations.
I know you want to go to the break.
See you next month.
In fact, I will be here. See you, Mike.
You guys coming in here to paint this room next? Waiting on us?
All right, let's speed it up.
Okay, go back to our regular order. Okay, we have communications. We have a letter from Randolph Hicks, Senior, note thanking Mayor and Council and first responders of Runnemede. Let's give a little summary of what he said. He said, it is a great pleasure to share my recent experience with the town of Runnemede. First responders, police, fire, and ambulance. On the night of August 4th, 2017, my wife noticed that I had stopped breathing and called 911. The Runnemede EMS were at a residence for a matter of minutes. It was a cardiac arrest, and I was in critical condition. My wife noted that the EMS performed CPR and other life-saving medical procedures. Were able to get me stabilized and rush me to the nearest hospital. There's no doubt that the quick and professional actions of Runnemede's first responders saved my life that night, and I and my family are forever grateful. So it's recognized.
Very nice.
Okay? And then we have a second communication. It's not on the agenda. This was sent from the Camden County Office of Hispanic Affairs. It basically says on Friday, October 13, 2017, the Camden County Board of Freeholders Office of Hispanic Affairs will be celebrating the 2017 Prominent Hispanic Awards in commemoration of National Hispanic Heritage Month. They are pleased to inform us that Runnemede's officer William Ortiz, also a resident of Runnemede, has been selected as one of the 2017 most significant Hispanic role models in the community. So one of us hopefully will be attending there to help honor this. Does someone want to make a motion to accept it? Oh, we have one more? Do you want to read that one?
Sent a thank you note for the flowers that we sent at his mother's funeral. During a time like this, we realize how much our friends and relatives really mean to us. Their expression of sympathy will always be remembered. Love you.
Someone want to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Communications are accepted. We've already done, no, we didn't. We have ordinance, this is a public hearing for ordinance 17-11. This is an ordinance regulating the salaries for the employees of the Borough of Runnemede for the year 2017. This is an ordinance establishing the police captain salary range between $90,000 and $110,000, and sewer plant operator, sewer repairer one, as a salary range between $40,000 and $60,000. Is there a motion? Oh no, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I so move. I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, the public portion is closed. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. 1 second, let me get that.
Yeah, it's on a little.
It's not on there.
It's on the second page, top of the second page.
I apologize. Motion to adopt on the second final reading and advertise according to law.
Okay.
Does that have to do with the public hearing to be held on?
No, we're done that part. So a motion by Mr.
I'll
Farrell,
second that motion.
second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Reed?
Yes.
All right, this ordinance is adopted. Okay. So committee reports. Finance, Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, John.
Thank you. Our audit for 2016 has been completed. We had our exit conference with Bowman and received our findings. We did very well. We had a few findings with timeliness in some areas and supporting documentation for capital, asset logs, and various items, all which have been addressed. Also, as we do each year, the borough is evaluated and participates in the New Jersey State Best Practice Program. And in order to receive our state aid, which we need, we must pass this evaluation. As of today, we are looking very good with no repeat violations carried over from last year. And I was talking with our CFO, Mr. Law, and he's very confident that we will fare just as well as we did last year, possibly some slight improvements. As we move forward with our experienced staff and some of our many new hires, Mayor and Council have been interviewing and hiring with an eye towards the future, and also with the eye towards continued growth and progress in all directions that the borough faces, and the rest is progress.
Thank you. Public safety, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. There's bingo license 17-04 for the Runnemede PTA. November 3rd, 2017. Full paperwork is in order. I'd like a motion to approve that bingo license.
Okay, so motion by Ms. Kelly. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. PTA, liquor license is approved. Okay.
In September, we had in our police department 676 calls for service. We had 178 traffic summons issued. There were 20 motor vehicle crashes. We had 157 arrests for the month. Our arrests year-to-date are 1,286. There were no Narcan deployments, and we had 7 drug arrests. Also, we received a letter from the Division of Criminal Justice announcing that our police department will receive $1,705.18 under the state fiscal year 2017 State Body Armor Replacement Fund. And they'll be sending us an electronic transfer of those monies. And basically what this does, it enables us to buy the mandatory body armor that the police wear. So this is a great grant that we received. And Chief's not here, but I'd like to thank him for applying for that grant. Our fire department, busy month. They had 145 EMS calls, 47 fire department calls, and a lot of those were out of town in Gloucester Township, Blenheim, and surrounding communities. The fees collected for September were $28,756.51, and the total for the year, as of the end of September, is $296,400.87. There were 2 Narcan deployments. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you. Public events, Ms. Passio?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We had our yard sale this past weekend. I haven't heard anything. We did have good weather, so I'm assuming everything went well. We decided on curfew for Halloween.
We have to do that tonight.
Okay, well, it was 3 to 7.
What, it's not only the curfew.
And it's not-
And how long you want
And
it to?
it's been like 9 o'clock. It starts at 9 o'clock.
Should
I make it 25th?
You want to look up,
The week before is the 25th, I think, to the,
The 25th is when?
I think that's.
let's look up last year's ordinance, last year's resolution. We'll come back to that, is that okay?
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding us.
Yes, thank you.
I know it was 9 o'clock, and I thought it started on the 25th.
So they,
It was for a whole week. We did
okay,
it.
so the curfew and the trick-or-treating
And then the
hours,
trick-or-treating hours were 3 to 7. We said 2 to 7, and then the school.
said that was too early, yes, so 3 to 7.
So it was 3 to 7. Okay.
Did you look up that one?
Yeah, I did.
You want to find it, and we'll
Yeah.
just
I
do
just
it?
looked in the minutes.
So is it 7 o'clock? That's the curfew?
We're going to look up last year's, and that's
Well,
what we.
that's what we
7
do.
o'clock,
Let's
it's
just pick it.
7 o'clock's trick or treating, that's one.
Yeah.
You said it. And then the
Yeah.
other one was-
It was,
What was
curfew
curfew?
was 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
go.
they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
For the whole
Curfew
week?
For a whole week.
The 24th and the 31st.
Okay, so what resolution would that be?
151?
151? We'll put that on at the end.
Yeah.
151. What's 152?
Once you do trick or treating.
And then trick or treats 3 to 7.
Okay.
And then from 6 to 8 o'clock at our field house, we are having our Halloween party, our annual Halloween party. And we will have a contest which will be from infants up until adults. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll have pizza and drinks.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Yes, we always have a good time. So get dressed up. We could use some volunteers out there. I see you out there. We did it, but then he changed it to 3 to 7. Because the school,
Yeah, it was too early.
yeah,
What
the
about
president of BOE said,
curfew? We made it 9 o'clock
From the-
during Halloween week, from Thursday to 27th. Monday, October 31st. What's
Well, that would be the
before?
26th.
Tuesday this year.
Let's do the
Yes,
26th to the
Tuesday.
31st. 26th to the 31st, okay.
The 26th is what day?
Thursday.
What day? Thursday?
October 20, Thursday, October 26th.
Tuesday, October 31st.
Yes.
It'll be 9 o'clock? Perfect.
Yeah, yes.
And then you want to do it 3 to 7?
3 to 7, because last year we did it
We
2
did
to
2 to 7,
7.
and we had to adjust it.
Yeah, we had to adjust it. All right, the Women's Club, I want to talk a little bit about the Women's Club. The basket auction was supposed to be on October 25th, and it's been postponed, and as soon as we find out the date, we'll be putting it on our website and on our Facebook page. So, don't get discouraged, it's going to happen, definitely going to happen. Let's see, I talked about the Halloween 6 to 8 field house. Also, yes, this October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so you wear your pink, he wore for a little bleach one and it'll turn pink.
I even got your email. I did, I got your email.
But, you know, breast cancer strikes everyone. I mean, it strikes the men and women and the pets. So just wear pink this month so we can make everybody aware that we do care. The Runnemede Fire Department is having fire prevention open house from 7 to 9 p.m. at the fire station on October 12th. They're going to also give a pizza party for the class with the most students attending from kindergarten to 5th grade, so that should be fun. Also, their fall festival will be October 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. You can go onto their Facebook page, Runnemede Fire Company Farmers Market, because I guess they're going to be having it at the Fire Festival, the fall festival. Let me see. Also, the seniors. They have fundraisers, and one of the fundraisers is their trips. So if anybody is interested in going on a trip, you can call Jerry Valinsky, and our phone number is 856-939-5007. I know she's planning a few trips from now until Christmas. That would be really great if somebody can attend and fill up the bus. It's important, like I said, and I know that they would appreciate that. Also, they're looking for members, and so is the Women's Club, so we're all looking for members. We need some volunteers out there, we need some members, and seniors, it's from 55 went up, so you don't have to be, really
So that covers
old.
most members of
So,
council?
So, come on, that's all join.
So,
Okay. All right, and with that, I will say press.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Engineering, Mr. Brown, one of our newest senior members. Turn 55.
Oh, wait, okay, may I take?
You're taking our time.
May I take the desk? Flu shots. Flu shots are October 31st from 11 to 1 o'clock at the VFW. So please remember that. It will be happening at the VFW. Yes. Yeah, right before. So if you're going to volunteer, don't get the flu shot. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, the flu shots will be given out by Camden County on Tuesday, October 31st at the VFW from 11 to 1 o'clock. That's it. Yes.
Okay, Mr.
It's
Brown.
already on
Thank you.
there.
I have nothing new from last week's meeting, so I'm just going to go with my focus report and progress.
Okay, you're
All
last.
right.
Thank you. Public Works, Mr. Root.
The only thing I want to say is look for the signs that the guys put out for your leaf pickups. The date, that would be starting in the month of October. So just look for it's going to have the first week and the third week, or the second week and the fourth. If you see that sign, that's when your weeks are. So, and the only thing I wanted to say, we did talk about the fountain last week, about taking it out. The day after we talked about it, they actually went out, fixed it, and requested that we leave it in running because of the treatment, and it helps the
The
treatment.
company that works on it?
Yeah, the Black Lagoon. So we're leaving it back, we're gonna leave it back in since it's working now, but we still gotta take care of the clock situation. We'll set that up for next.
So because they treated it, it has to keep running
It
for a
it
period of
helps, it
time?
helps moving it around the treatment, so they asked to keep it in for.
You have some of your employees here. Why are they here this evening? What were they doing for us this evening?
They were, actually, these guys stayed late today to paint the front office, so, because we're getting new, filing cabinets, so they decided it'd be smarter to paint before the filing cabinets went in. So they stayed late, and we'd like to thank them for staying late.
And I especially want to thank them because we only figured this out at what, 1 o'clock? So really appreciate getting it done. It was the right thing to do. Thanks.
Great job, guys.
What's next? Is Ruby-
And the rest is
We're gonna
progress.
start painting after we get out of this room.
Mike, I have a question for you. Harry said you're gonna have yard waste all through the winter?
Yeah, they're just, and Monday, you can keep putting it out on Monday. And as needed, they'll go out and pick it up. So if you have yard waste, put it out.
So it might stay out there for a day or two.
Yeah, if it's out there, don't worry, they'll eventually get it.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks,
All right. Parks and Rec, Mr. Lobenstein is not here this evening. Administrators report, there's not much to report there. Solicitors report. Progress. Engineers report, what do you got for us?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would most likely rely on my report of progress. A couple updates. We did have the pre-construction meeting last Thursday for Borough Hall Phase 2 improvements. We're taking care of some paperwork right now. As soon as all that is in order, we'll issue the notice to proceed.
I signed whatever you left for me this evening, so if you want to get it from
Yes,
us.
and then we'll get the notice to proceed going and hopefully start construction once they get permits and all our shop drawings approved.
Can I make one request? I apologize for not being at that meeting. Because of all the work that's being done with the Public Works painting and all that, is there any way to get the mailbox installed earlier than at the end of the project? I mean, I don't know what, I didn't see their schedule of,
That's one of the shop drawings we're waiting on.
oh, really?
Uh,
I do believe Adam had preliminary drawings that he had shown, because we did frame out
Yeah,
the,
we have the mailbox picked out. and
Yes.
It's in the contract, so I just don't know where.
if it's possible to order instead of waiting to the end, if they could move it up. What it'll do is it'll move some of that paperwork out and help us out, if possible.
I will see what I can do about that.
Okay.
We also had the bid opening on Friday for the Elm Avenue and Broadway project. That was the DOT funded project, and you have resolution 17-150 on tonight's agenda to get that awarded. We only had one bidder, but the bid was competitive because it was less than our engineer's estimate, and it was for Lambert Construction, who is in town with Washington Avenue right now. And just to update that project, the paving was put on hold last week because South Jersey Gas is going to be replacing the main. I tried to get an update on their schedule, but last I heard, it'll be 2 to 3 weeks to go through their engineering and get the new main installed, so paving will not occur.
So they won't even do the side towards Lindsay either? It doesn't make any sense to do one side?
It doesn't, we'd have a remobilization charge to do it twice, so.
So they're gonna break up the new street? Is that what?
No, the argument is before we put the top coat in, South Jersey Gas wants to put a new main because they found something that was broken when we were working on the road. And so they want to put it's a large pipe, I guess.
The pipe that's in there was original from 1929, it's bare steel, they want to put plastic pipe in its place, which is current.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So our top paving's on hold until that.
Next time.
All right. Thank you. That's everything? Okay, thank you. Okay, old business, we had none. Public comments on agenda items, no one takes advantage of this, but this portion of the meeting is open to the public, anyone wishing to speak on the upcoming resolutions that we're going to be voting on. This portion of the meeting is open to that. Before we vote, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one wants to speak, is there a motion to close the public portion of this portion of?
I so move. I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Ms. Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item's closed. New business. We have
First reading,
ordinance
1714.
14, okay. Ordinance 1714 is an ordinance amending Chapter 193 of the Code of the Borough of Runnemede entitled Games of Chance adding a new section, raffle and bingo license. Just for everyone to know, this will speed up the process for the awarding of raffle and bingo licenses. So we won't have to vote on them every time, or they'll just be approved if their paperwork is in order. Is that correct?
So I send it up to Trent.
Trenton.
Trent is the final say.
Fine.
And I'm gonna, I thought that I sent this to Joyce, I apologize, so I'm gonna make a slight change, I'm gonna add another paragraph, which says, the clerk shall report a detailed listing of all raffle and or bingo licenses authorized by the clerk at the next regularly scheduled meeting of the mayor and council.
Okay.
So you know.
So we know, okay.
So I have that to give to Joyce, so she can have that to publish before we do final.
Okay, so this is only for first reading. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law with a public hearing to be held on October 24th, 2017.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Renier.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay. We have Ordinance 17-15 is an ordinance amending Section 395-15, zoning for fences, hedges, and walls, the Code of the Borough of Runnemede. This is clarification on our zoning ordinance. What it basically states is that the permit will only be required if someone is replacing more than 25% of their fence. If they're only making a minor repair of less than 25% of their fence, they do not need to get a permit. It also, that's all that clarifies, correct? Yes.
And it defines what it,
And it defines what 25% of the fence is and within a 12-month period of time. And the cost of the application will remain the same at $65. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law with a public hearing to be held on October 24th, 2017.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, is there a
I'll
second?
second that motion.
Second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
Okay.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, we have ordinance 17-16, which is an ordinance amending section 336-6, which is swimming pools and fences of the Code of the Borough of Runnemede. This clarifies that a zoning application will be required prior to a construction permit. Just for those in the audience to understand, we had a situation where a zoning permit was not given out before a fence went in, and the fence was put up on the wrong property. So by having a zoning approval done first, it'll make sure the fence is located in the proper location. So that was the amendment. Let me double check, show the plan. And zoning permit, yes.
I'll make a motion to adopt on first reading and advertise according to law with a public hearing to be held on October 24th, 2017.
Okay, motion by Mr. Ranieri, is there
I'll
a
second
second?
that motion.
Second by Ms. Passio, roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, we've already done Resolution 140, so we're at Resolution 17-141, was a resolution canceling interest charge on Lot 160, Lot 8, due to a TD Bank error. Everyone should understand this, it's just, is there a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Root, second by Ms. Passio. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Renier.
Yes.
5 ayes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-142 is a resolution regarding employment. This is a resignation letter from Anita Marta. Basically,
October 30th.
this is to inform her that she is retiring as of December 1st, 2017. Her final scheduled day of work will be November 30th, 2017. Anita was one of our tax clerks and sewer clerks. She worked for the borough for
26 years.
26 years.
I'll move
Commissioner,
it.
you make a motion? Mr. Root?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Farrell. Mr. Farrell, roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-143 is a resolution urging the state legislature to extend the 2% cap on police and fire arbitration contract awards. This was a statute that limited interest arbitration awards to 2%. It was first introduced in 2010 and then extended in 2014 by unanimous consent of the legislature. It expires on December 31st, 2017, but it has been credited to fostering a better communication between police and fire units and the municipalities. The fact is that towns no longer really go to arbitration because with this cap, that there's an interest in resolving the contracts. So I believe that it's helped the Borough of Runnemede and helped our neighbors and the rest of the state. The problem is the legislature is moving very slowly on this. So is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri,
Go ahead.
I'll second that motion.
second by Mrs. Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the resolution is adopted. They do request that we send this resolution up to the state
No, I know, let me
legislature.
tell you where it is, real quick. And the next one, too.
You doing the next one too? Resolution 17-144 is a resolution opposing the legislative proposal regarding the Open Public Meetings Act and the Open Public Records Act. We talked about this a little bit at the caucus meeting. Some of the changes are positive, but more of the changes are negative. We feel that the changes do not match what is the needs. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion
I'll
by
second
Mr.
that
Bruce,
motion.
second by Ms. Kelly. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. Same thing, right? We send that out. Resolution 17-145 is a resolution authorizing property maintenance liens. This is for the grass cutting that we do on properties that are either vacant or that they do not cut their grass. How many are there?
9.
It's more than
No,
that.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
it's all-
Oh, it's 9 of them. There's only 9 properties that maintain. Some of them.
There are 3 of them that have multiple cuts.
Some have multiple cuts because we only meet once a month.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a motion by Mr. Root, second by Mr. Farrell? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Five ayes, one
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-146 is a resolution authorizing the borough engineer to submit an application to the New Jersey Department of Transportation for local aid infrastructure funding. We've done very well the past year. We got over $400,000 from the Department of Transportation. So they've been very generous to Runnemede lately. So hopefully they'll help us out again. Our application for those in the audience are to repave Charles Avenue, Phillips Avenue, South Reed Avenue, and Schistler Circle. So hopefully we'll do well. We've done well in the past.
I'll make a motion.
Okay?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mrs. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Root?
Yes.
All right, the resolution is
Five
adopted.
ayes, one
And
no.
just for those in the audience to understand where these roads were picked, one of the reasons is the criteria that the Department of Transportation gives us. The roads have to have some bearing on other state roads. So for example, these roads in some way touch or are close to touching state roads. That helps our application process. Resolution 17-147 is a resolution petitioning legislature to name I-676 as the official highway for the Battleship New Jersey BB 62. Mr. Del Sordo is here. Mr. Del Sordo, would you like to say something to the council and the audience before we?
As some of you may know, I'm one of the trustees for the Battleship, and the Battleship New Jersey has just been named as the official battleship for the official ship of the state of New Jersey. And I thought immediately that since 45,000 cars a day use that artery between Walt Whitman Bridge and Ben Franklin Bridge in both directions, and it travels along the Delaware River exactly the same way the Battleship New Jersey did on its last tour, that it would be ideal for tourist purposes as well as for remembrance purposes to have that road named as Battleship New Jersey Highway. As you probably know, I solicited a lot of the towns, particularly Runnemede, Belmar, Audubon Park, Brooklawn. These were all towns that had integral parts of building the battleship. So many of our residents worked at the Philadelphia Navy Yard when that battleship was put in. It's more of a pleasure to me because, as you know, we were the first and frankly the only one in Camden County to have a tapestry from the battleship. So I solicited your mayor and council to have that named in that purpose. I hope that you find it well because it's well on its way. I have Pat Jones working on it. I've also got in touch with Senator Madden and we'll be in touch with some of the other state senators. But I frankly think it'd just be a nice thing to remember, in particularly one of our former building inspectors who you, want the history of Runnemede again? One of our former building inspectors worked on the battleship and actually some of the people at home with it. And so it's.
What was his name, Mr.?
Mr. Bidding it was many years ago.
Great.
And it's on one of his homes. So
Good.
I'd like to say I appreciate it, that mayor and council consider that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
Also move, I'll second that motion.
Okay, great. Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Pasio. All in favor for the petition?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the resolution will be adopted, and we'll also send that out there. Thank you. Resolution 17-148 is a resolution adopting a 3-year cooperation agreement with the County of Camden. This is for
Community development.
community development.
They require us to do a 3-year commitment every 3 years to do. So this is for 18, 19, and 20.
3-year commitment?
I hate them ones that are every 4 years.
I know, isn't it?
For those that know, the community block grant development agreement that we have with the county has been very helpful for us. This past year, the county gave us a $150,000 supplemental to fix some of our ADA requirements here at the Borough Hall. And then they've also helped with another, basically $33,000 every year they give the borough to mitigate ADA compliance issues. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Pasio, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passione.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
All right, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-149 is a resolution adjusting sewer charges in the positive.
Yes, a positive, someone is opening another pizza establishment in the shopping center on the Chandler, the Hartford Plaza.
For those in the audience, our sewer fees are based on the use of the property. So it would be an increase of $665.
The strip mall over by the Acme.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
What's that? I don't know.
Somewhere I saw the name of it.
Just change the name, really.
Lamada Pizza.
Lamada Pizza,
I think I did. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Pasio, is there a second? Second by Mr. Ranieri, roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passione.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
Advisory.
All right, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-150 is a resolution approving the bid for reconstruction of Elm Avenue and Broadway, including alternate 1 and 2, pending certification of funds. The total cost is $213,303. The DOT is giving us $200,000 of that $213,000. So we just have to clarify that we have the extra $13,000, which I was called today by Mr. Anderson. Our treasurer did say that him and Mr. Law spoke. They do have the extra $13,000 because of some savings on Washington or South Oakland. And so that money can be transferred over. But with Mr. Law not being here right now, he'll do the certification of funds once he returns. So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Pasio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passione.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Renier.
Yes.
Five ayes, 1 absent.
All right, the resolution is adopted. We now have Resolution 17-151, which is the curfew for the 4 days before Halloween from Thursday, October 26th to Tuesday, October 31st. Curfew will be at 9 p.m. Okay?
And trick or treating is from 3 to 7.
Are we going to do that as one resolution?
No, one.
It's all one resolution? Okay.
We've always done one.
We'll do one.
Oh, all right. Then we'll just be-
And then trick or treating,
On my phone.
Okay, trick or treating will be on October 31st, from 3 PM to 7 PM. That sound good, school board?
Sure.
Okay.
Plenty of time.
We had it 2 last year, and then I got a phone call from Ms. Sampolsky to change it back to 3.
We could go an hour later.
Go an hour later?
Yeah, why not?
That's okay. We'll see, well, that's fine.
There's a lot of little kids that like to go out early.
Okay, so, is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion is
I'll
by Mr.
second that
Farrow, second by Ms. Passio.
I'm not going to circle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Now we have the review of the best practice worksheet from 2017 to 2018. We are required to review this. I'll go through them quickly. The best practice worksheet is given to us by the DCA to make sure that we're following some rules that they have. This allows us to get 100% of our state aid. So, number 1, requires public employers, including municipalities, to file all contracts that are negotiated. The answer to that is no. We have to send them up. There's a few contracts that have been settled or amended, and we hadn't sent them up. But then what the state does is it puts it on their website. So we have to send them to them. We'll definitely get that ready before next year. So the answer to that one is no. Has your municipality adopted a written vehicle use policy prohibiting personal use of municipal vehicles? The answer is yes. Active monitoring, management of the municipality's rateable base is a fundamental help to ensuring fiscal stability. There should be communication with the municipal tax assessor to ensure that the municipality has sufficient time to factor potential exposure to tax appeal judgments in their budgetary process. The answer to that one is yes. We've done very well with that. If everyone knows, we reassessed a few years ago, and our appeals are minimal in the borough. Is that correct? We have very few. It was adopted formally on October 24, 2017, so we formally adopted that policy. Number 4, does your municipality maintain an up-to-date municipal website containing a minimum of the following: past 3-year budgets, the current year's proposed budget, and most recent annual financial statement and audits? The answer is yes. Number 5 is a question we don't have to answer. Number 6, local government ethics law designs to ensure transparency in government requires government officials, officers to file financial disclosure forms. The answer is yes. All 7 members of the governing body plus all appointees have filed their financial disclosure forms. Number 7, if anybody has any questions, they can stop me. Usually I'm the one asking questions.
So good, good.
Number 7, while outside employment by municipal officials can sometimes be acceptable, it is imperative that no conflicts of interest impede on municipal governance. Does your municipality have an established documented process requiring department heads to submit notice of outside employment? The answer is yes. Number 8, it's not applicable to our municipality. Number 9, audit findings address areas needed for improvement. Ignoring these findings devalues the process, therefore municipality should correct noted deficiencies. Have all audit findings from 2015 audit been identified in the correction action plan addressed such that they are not repeated in 2016? The answer is yes. Question number 10, payments in lieu of taxes. Pilot programs are often used as a tool of economic development. It is imperative that municipalities monitor pilot agreements to ensure recipients complying with all agreements. The answer is yes. Our tax and utility collector and CFO monitor compliance with the assistance of the assessor. Currently, the borough only receives 2 pilot programs in the borough. That would be the Runson House and the Best Work Industry for the Blind. But for those who don't know, the Best Work Industry for the Blind has been sold, and we have a new business coming into town, All Risk, which is a site remediation and what's that? And they have 65 employees. I just recently spoke to the owner, and he will be sending us over basically a press release so that we can let everybody in town know that they're moving in and they'll be fixing the building up. And what that means is they no longer get the pilot program. They will be paying our normal tax rate, though they are eligible for what we passed a few years ago with the abatement program. So it basically takes the fact that they were paying $5,000 a year in property taxes and over the next 5 years, they'll be phased in at the full amount. And I think the property would probably be assessed closer to $800,000 or $900,000. So it'll be a substantial increase for both the school and the municipality. Question number 11 requires municipalities to complete their annual audit on time. We were a couple months late this year, but hopefully we'll do a better job next year, so the answer to that one is no. But of course, our goal is to get that done on time. Number 12, the chief financial officer from each municipality shall, before the end of the first month of the fiscal year, file its annual debt statement with the Division of Local Services. We filed that on time. Number 13, while the issuance and renewal of bond anticipation notes can be a reasonable and prudent financial mechanism, failing to take advantage of low interest rates on permanent finance can cause municipalities to incur unnecessary carrying costs. Has your municipality evaluated its outstanding bond anticipation notes and developed a strategy to move forward in permanent financing? The answer is yes. If everyone recalls, a couple of years ago, we did roll over our short-term financing. Borough sold bonds. We did very well with our bond sale, but we also do fantastic with our short-term financing. At one point, I think our interest rate was 1%, so I think we've done very well. Number 14 is not applicable. Number 15 requires that introduced annual budget incorporate a user-friendly budget section. We did do that, so the answer is yes. Number 16, unless the director sets forth a later date, requires the calendar year municipalities approve their introduced budgets no later than February 10th. Did our municipality introduce and adopt its current budget no later than the dates provided? The answer was yes. Number 17, does your municipality exclude from healthcare coverage part-time elected and appointed office officials? And the answer is yes. So none of us up here get health insurance, in case you didn't know that. Number 18, is your municipality collecting at least the amount set forth by Chapter 78 for health benefit contributions, 1.5% of base salary, whichever is greater for all officers and employees? The answer is yes. We collect a minimum of 1.5%, and in most cases, we collect a larger amount based on the Chapter 78 guidelines. Question 19, payment waivers filed before 2010 maintain continuously cannot exceed 50% of the amount saved by local units. Does your municipality refrain from paying waiver payments in excess of the statutory minimum? The answer is yes. For those employees who do not get our health benefit, they are entitled to 50% of the savings that the borough would incur up to $5,000. So what we do is any employee who does not take our health insurance, and there are several employees that do not take our health insurance, we multiply what it would cover us times how much they, or less how much they would pay, and that amount in some cases is $5,000, but in other cases where we have employees who are single coverage, don't earn as much money, they don't get as much, that $5,000 for not taking. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Question 20. Does your municipality refrain from paying overtime to employees classified as exempt under Family Labor Standards Act? Chief, do we pay that? Overtime?
Yeah.
The answer is no. Makes it to the record that the chief said no. So those who are not eligible for overtime do not get overtime. Let's see. For any employees covered by collective bargaining agreement, has your municipality instituted a policy to not compensate employees for sick leave accumulated after a certain date? The answer is yes. We do not pay for sick time. So when an employee retires, as those you might know, in other municipalities, when an employee might retire, no offense, chief, but specifically police chiefs and administrators, especially school administrators, they walk away with what we like to call boat checks of between $50,000 and a couple $100,000 for unused sick time. The Borough of Runnemede does not do that. Is that correct, chief? Number 22. Has your municipality instituted a written policy to not compensate non-union employees for sick leave accumulated after a certain date? That is also yes. Has your municipality adopted an ordinance resolution regulating or regulation or written policy eliminating longevity awards, bonus or payments for non-union employees? That answer is also yes. For any employees covered by a collective bargaining agreement, has your municipality eliminated all longevity awards, bonuses, or payments for employees hired after or on a specific date? The answer is yes. We no longer do that. Number 25, has your municipality adopted or updated an employee personnel manual, handbook, by resolution or ordinance within the last 5 years? The answer is yes. What's that? That was it, Ms. Pinto. We have to do it again because we have to do it every so many years. The last time we did it was in 2013, so we'll be up to date. So this year was only 25 questions. So we answered 12 yes, 2 no, 3 were non-applicable, 20 yes, 2 no. We got a 92% on our score, which means we get 100% of our state. So that was part of our requirement to read that to everyone.
Nice job, Mayor. Thank you.
All right? So, you feel better now? Mr. Vera feels better. Ms. Pinto does not get overtime either, for those who don't know.
Paul and I are
The
commiserating.
solicitor does not get overtime, neither does the engineer, neither does anybody else up here. You can't collect your sick time. I will say this to everyone in the audience, the chief does not use his sick time. I will say that. In 7 years, he has used, not going with, don't get sick. Sorry about even bringing it up.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Payment of bills, would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
Monthly
I'll
bills.
second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly? Yes. Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Okay, finalized. Bills shall be paid. Good and welfare. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. That?
Al Palisano, 831 North Oakland Avenue. Nice job, Mike, with the plastic signs, second and fourth week. I just saw much better than stapling paper onto the poles. Yeah, and these can be used hopefully year after year, so a nice saving.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't take it.
Yeah, tell the seniors not to take it.
First
So,
and third. Well, my side said first and third. I'll take one, you take one, we'll be good. Free, Mansarella 230, Evergreen. I have a question, and I may have missed it because I'm late and I can't read. I know that it's coming up on the 6th month. Is it not appointment of Mr. Law?
yes, at the caucus meeting, we had to extend him to the end of January. Yes, you were 100% right. We haven't, we've started the process, Mr. Ranieri said, of trying to find a replacement.
Okay.
But because we haven't finished it, yes, Mr. Law was reappointed till January 30th of 2035.
Like, I agree. The sign's awesome, and I can't say enough about guys on our side. Those public work guys work really hard.
Wait till you see how nice a job they did painting.
Yeah, we painted the
They were painting while we were all in here.
offices.
Really? I have to be honest, the offices, I told you already, look outstanding. But, that if you, like, watch, that you can't watch, because you're here, we're all working or whatever, but they really work. It's what a difference. I don't know, you know, I'm not sure, I'm sure you had a good part in it, but just watching them and their demeanors while they're working, it's so much.
99% Harry.
Is it?
It's amazing.
I had to call Harry a couple times this month regarding, you know, we couldn't find the volleyball poles, and I know with all the painting went on, they replaced it. And I had a lengthy conversation with him, and I said something to him as well, and he said, yeah, it's the same guys, and it's just how we're doing things. And so if it's Harry, if it's you, it's a combination of both. You and Harry deserve to mention, and the guys are truly, what a difference a few years.
Thank you.
So I went to a couple events, public events this month, where again, the bulk of you are present. You know what I mean? I've seen like 5 of these faces, 4 of these faces repeatedly over the month. It's so huge, it really is. And I killed all my weeds thanks to Mr. Ranieri.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey.
This patio and Patty's green things going on around town, so thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion?
So moved. I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion by Ms. Passio,
Second.
second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.